Hi there, welcome to the Werkstatt for what is to me a slightly awkward video. Anyway, this is to plug my GoFundMe campaign, which I launched just today, with the aim of providing the channel, and therefore me, with a relatively decent sort of workbench top lathe. I've posted numerous arts and crafts and making vids for various things, and every time people have said, just get a lathe, you need a lathe, get a lathe now, which I wholeheartedly agree with, but they're not cheap, especially if you want a good one. There's plenty of cheap ones out there, but if you want one that has, for example, proper thread cutting and can handle steel and not just plastics and aluminium or brass, yeah, you need a good one. So this was the most ethical way of doing it that I could think of. I didn't want to go through Patreon because for me Patreon is basically for the channel as a whole. So it's for the ammo that we use, the range time that we need to hire, the equipment that we'll be using for filming and measuring, both of us. So I felt wrong to say, oh, I'm just going to siphon some money off Patreon for basically equipping my own private workshop. And it was suggested that I should go through GoFundMe. Now that in itself caused a bit of an ethical problem for me because I don't see it as its intended purpose. I think it's more for more humanitarian things, but it seems to be the most reachable platform to do such a thing. So hopefully you won't think any less of me for going through this route. So if I haven't mentioned it already, because I'm rambling, what I'm looking for is about $2,000 francs. It's about the same. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. After looking around, it seems to be a reasonable price for sort of not quite, slightly bigger than a mini lathe. Sort of, it's going to be very primitive, about this big, with all the necessary attachments. Tools and all that will come later. Probably going to go second hand, and if there's any excess, of course I'll kit out the lathe as much as possible, and anything else would probably go to replace this old wobbly pillar drill, which doesn't drill quite round if you really have a look at it, and then probably a bandsaw, which would be extremely useful for when we're doing our recreations of historical shoots, especially for making target frames or sleds, that kind of thing, which for the moment is a bit difficult to do, and I really can't saw straight, to be honest. So yeah, those are things that would be nice to have, but not essential. But the main thing is really to get that lathe, because there's so much that can be done with it for the channel. I mean, all the things I've done previously, like the self-lubricating bullet way back, most recently the conversion cartridges, but even simple things like making mandrels for the chassepot, that I had a very nice fan of ours that volunteered to turn those out for me. It's just a rod, but I couldn't do it, so it would give us far more capacity. It's going to be a steep learning curve if and when we manage it, because I did about a day 20 years ago in university in the let the engineers loose into the machine room, which was a bit brave of them, but we came out mostly whole. So yes, there we are. I will thank all of you in advance if you decide to contribute to the fund. And hopefully it'll go well, and we can turn out some good stuff for you. Thanks for watching.